Hi, my name is Courtney Moore. I'm from small town Denison, Texas, and this documentary is about my family, me tracing my heritage back. It's about the experiences that I had and the things that I found. I hope you enjoy.
The bottom of this image. There we go. Okay, let's start here. So this is a family tree, as it says below, Rhodes family tree. This, kind of shows how far back the family history dates. I know this says 1869, which is, right on par for most of the, information that my grandmother, your great grandmother, who's 93, she's still living currently. And all the family, documents that she has, this is about how far back they go. And so this is Milton and Phyllis at the bottom of the tree. They're the earliest known four parents. And then this tree just represents all of their children.
Yeah. So, it's a lot of names. So where do we come from exactly?
So within this tree specifically, it looks like their son Simon, and that's going to be toward the lower right. Yep.
Right here.
Yep. So Simon was a son of Milton and Phyllis, and so we are, within his direct line.
Okay,
It
okay.
looks like this, Milton and Phyllis, it looks like their union started in Bienville Parish in Louisiana. So that's interesting.
Uh,
Simon and his wife Josephine, and so this image represents their children, and of course Simon being the son of Milton and Phyllis. So now we can see a little more of the lineage and of their children represented here. It looks like Cecil is going to be where our direct lineage comes from.
okay, so that makes
Interesting
okay.
names here.
So this is, of course, already titled Simon and Josephine Rose, but okay, so they were really, the start of that branch.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
as the descendants of Milton and Phyllis. Yeah, they were. Now this image, I like to kind of look at this one because you can look at, what they were wearing. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
the woman having on a dress and just kind of thinking what type of jobs they held during that time. Of course, this would have been late 1800s. You can kind of see the little chain at his belt. Maybe he had a pocket watch.
You know what I'm saying?
And just the type of handbag that she has, and maybe she was a homemaker, and just what we know was taking place during those times for them to be
Mhm.
so dressed up. It's like, did they just go to church, or was he a businessman and he's reading the newspaper? Maybe he's checking the market.
Yeah. She looked tired though. But
Maybe they
yeah.
didn't have a car. Maybe they had to walk from place to place. So
But the chain, which probably leads to a watch, reminds me of the movie Life when Eddie Murphy was saying, "That's my daddy watch."
right.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah, and that
okay.
could have been, a piece that was passed down through generations. So you never know.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay. Who is this?
Yeah, so this
Okay.
one is Cecil
Let's
and
see
Viola
where we at.
Rhodes. So Cecil, the man that's seated, he's the son of Simon. So we just looked at an image of Simon and Josephine. Those are his parents. So I'm sorry, Cecil was married to Viola, and she looks really young in this image, but they were
Right?
married when she was about 13 years old, which of course
Okay.
would have been common for those times. But again, I like to look at these images and, think about she was born in 1913. I think he was born in maybe oh 06, oh 07. And,
Mhm.
just thinking about the hat and the dress again, their shoes, and maybe what type of jobs they had.
Goodness. Mm, yeah. But yeah, definitely the job aspect. Um, you know, I was looking on one of the like websites where you can kind of like track your people, and
Mhm.
they'll have like the census, and for a lot of people during, or a lot of black women during this times, they were like housekeeper or cleaner or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the same for Viola here. She had 11 children and did not work outside of the home. So she
Hmm.
definitely, was primarily focused in child rearing, gardening, sewing, making clothes, doing just basic, house task at that time, which most women, regardless of class and race, most women during that time had those same duties. So that
Gotcha.
part was not, too different.
Gotcha. And what time did you time like this is like what, 1930s,
Yeah, I guess she's
19,
13 here and she was born in
oh so yeah,
1913. So yeah, we
like
could say the
1926, 1930s.
yep, yep,
Gotcha.
definitely during that time.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
so these are their daughters. Again, they had 11 kids, and so these are of those kids that they had. These are the girls. And I'll just go from left to right. That's Maddie, Patricia, Jean, Ruby, and Rosie. And
Mm-hmm.
they're also in line from youngest to oldest. And the oldest, Rosie, she's 93, still living, and she would be your great grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Rhodes is Cecil Rhodes' brother. So
Mm-hmm.
Johnny and Cecil were brothers. And then Johnny, he was one of the first or the first African American police officer in Lawton, Oklahoma. Him, having that first again was not uncommon during that time. If you, do any research within law enforcement in the country, it was pretty unheard of to have, people that were in authority in that type of position during that time. So, during the 40s, 50s, to have a Black officer was pretty much unheard of. So that was a big role for him. They do a lot of write ups and research into this, what was going on during those times. So that was, interesting for him to hold that role, see how that impacted, his family.
Definitely. So this was Cecil's brother,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Correct.
Now, I heard through the grapevine, which the grapevine ain't always the best source of information, but I heard that Cecil got into a little um what you call it, bootlegging during the Prohibition era. So,
Yeah. So for Cecil, and remember Cecil and Viola
uh-huh.
married, we talked about her being a homemaker. Um, Cecil's primary, job, I guess you could say, he was a bootlegger. Of course, now, the selling of alcohol is legal, but at that time, of course, this is through the 1930s.
Okay.
The sale and use of alcohol was prohibited. So it was, very, very illegal during those times. But he sold a product that in that area of North Texas was referred to as chalk. And so they had, all the different methods for making it and storing it and distributing it. But, it was illegal, but he did, um, fortunately, I guess you could say, make quite a bit of money doing that. So much so that he was able to take care of his large family again, had 11 children, a host of grand and great grand, but then was also able to take care of the community. So people knew during that time you could go to Cecil Rhodes if you needed anything, if you needed a loan, if there was some repair that you had to have done, if you needed, treatments, you could go to him. So it was illegal, but it was a means to an end for him to support his family and his community, which of course we see the them one law enforcement and one a bootlegger. So
Right.
you can kind of see the dichotomy of people of that time just doing what they had to do to survive.
Right. Good.
I was
That's a
13
great.
on there.
You 13? I was looking at this one. I was saying, did you ever meet Simon or Simon Rhodes? Or
Who?
this one man right here.
He would be my great grandfather.
Oh, okay. Goodness. Goodness.
All them people out of Oklahoma, Hugo.
Hugo, Oklahoma.
And then they got some in Louisiana. What town was that little? I still remember.
I saw Mama had did something. I think it was like Blue Lagoon or Blue Bayou, Louisiana, or something like that.
Even though I picture better days, I'm thankful for the chance I got to say amen. The Lord done blessed me with his grace. I wish this day would never end. We represent the slum. Where we from, we built it on. Falling short off on these presidents and hard times that go and come.
We were kids, they didn't make nothing. They didn't buy stuff in the store. Well, you couldn't. Everything was homemade. Cookies, pies, cake. All this food was homemade.
Now they say the stores are open on Sunday.
Yeah, and you can buy anything you want to. See, we was coming through, they had a blue law. Yeah. You couldn't shop on Sunday.
Everything you didn't get
That
on
was
Saturday,
Lord's Day.
you just had to wait till Sunday.
Monday.
I mean Monday.
Mhm.
Monday.
Yeah.
Couldn't buy beer or none of that kind of stuff. Now, it's
You can buy anything you
wide
want.
open.
Mm-hmm.
When y'all were going to school there, how far away was that from integration? Like
Oh man.
y'all graduated before it started, or?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I graduated when they were started.
Right when it started.
1967, and I graduated in 69. I went there, they left it like a boy. They didn't treat us right. Because they didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated in 65.
Mm-hmm.
And in 68, I think that's when they started
You had to go.
integrating, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Down home, good old fashioned people.
It's country. I like it.
Nothing better than that, man.
I just love Kentucky.
One day I'm gonna get into some rabbit and squirrel and see what.
Now, we
Yeah,
were raised
it's
up
good.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure was.
Boy, they fry that rabbit up and you think
Think the
it
gravy?
looked kind of like chicken thighs.
Grandmother.
Mm-hmm. I watch guys on the internet make it, and they'll kind of
Mhm.
smother it with some gravy and like,
Yeah.
put it on a bed of rice or something.
Mhm.
It looks good.
Yeah, it's good.
No, I ain't never had a squirrel, but I had a
Yeah,
rabbit.
well, I had squirrel.
We was raised on a rabbit. They made rabbit stew, rabbit chili.
Mm-hmm.
When I was coming through, you didn't take what you didn't like, or you didn't take what you didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they put on your plate, you ate it. I was glad to get it. They, boy, they didn't ask you what you want.
Somebody was talking about when they was coming up, they ate so much rabbit.
Probably very maybe.
They took a dump and then hopped off.
The rabbit did.
Say
No.
he did.
They took a dump and the dump hopped off.
Too much rabbit
All
then.
that rabbit they've been eating.
I thought it was so cool though. My papa was mama's daddy. They put him on the clothesline in the back. Put him down and just pull that skin off all the way up to the head. I thought, oh, that's so mean. But that was our meat. That's how we ate. When they didn't have no money to buy meat. My grandmother always had a big garden. That's where I like to go. I try to plant tomatoes every year, but it's so hot in this part of Texas. It burn your garden up, you ain't out there watering 24/7.
Thank you for coming along with me on this journey as we learned about the first black officer in law in Oklahoma, as we learned about the blue law, as we learned about segregation, as we learned about my great-great-grandfather being a bootlegger during the Prohibition era. This information has impacted me and really surprised me, to say the least. I really appreciate you watching my documentary. Thank you.